I'm moving straight to moving on because of time. We'll talk about the Federations Cup. Before now, we didn't expect to see the Federations Cup semi-final and finals take place in Lagos. But news coming through on Thursday or Friday was that we are going to have Abeokuta and Abuja. Do you have information as regards the change?
Well, between Abuja and Jos, where Giwa is plays, it's just an hour, 30 minutes, or max 2 hours.
Advantage?
So the thought is at an advantage, even though I don't see that as being, it's not tenable any longer. But just to doubt that sentiment, they have to take a game to Abeokuta, which has been Enyimba's natural ground. Enyimba has won most of their games.
Adopted home ground.
Adopted home ground. The last time they played in Abeokuta was against Nasarawa United in the quarterfinal of the last Federation Cup. They beat Nasarawa 1-0. So they are going back to where they used to. But Giwa, at this point in the Federation Cup, they punched above their weight. This has been their first time in the Premier League. They got promoted, in the National League, they got promoted. Now they are getting to the semi-final, likely going to get a ticket to play continental football next season if they do very well. But they are coming up against a traditional team like Enyimba. So today's game in Jos is Giwa Enyimba 1. Then on Thursday, Giwa Enyimba 2 in Abeokuta. So whatever happens today, well, it's just a league game. But with the way Enyimba has recruited, the kind of arsenal they have, and they went back to the man that gave them their best and Nigeria's greatest ever memories in club football, Kadu Ikana, has given them that psychological edge over Giwa.
Okay.
But you never can tell.
But I'm going to come to Jimmy Carter, but quickly I need to ask you something before we went before we came to the end of the first stanza. We saw Caterpillar somehow will come back on top of the table. Who ended the last season winning? Yeah. So do you think they're good enough to defend the league this season? Remember, as it stands, I'm going to take our viewers through the table. We have Caterpillar, Nasarawa, Abia and Sharks.
Yeah.
Unlikely people. I mean, we would have expected to see the Enyimba, the Caterpillars.
Enyimba is on 5th too.
They're not top 4.
So we need the 30.
Are you saying that meant to change? I mean, you would think Enyimba by this time of the day, by this time of the season, should be in the top 4. I mean, you want to say that. We have the Enugu Rangers as well, but we have Nasarawa United, Abia Warriors, and Sharks. Sharks, we can't take it away from Sharks. I mean, bring up a massive job. Still them from relegation, finished top half of the table, contending. At some point in time was second, third. Now he is in 4th. But for you, do you think this will change before I come back to Jimmy Carter's Federations Cup?
The only thing I expect to change is that Nasarawa and Abia might lose gas a little bit because of pedigree, and Enyimba will join Caterpillars in contesting. Caterpillars came from nowhere, and I saw them coming out from 11. They went to Gombe, defeated Gombe at home in Gombe, got a lot of results, and right now Caterpillars are on 10-11 match unbeaten run. I mean, if it was in England or Italy, we would have been making no all about that. But the way Caterpillars play at the moment, marvelous. And they've got Gambo Mohamed also blazing. And Rabi Ali is one of the best midfielders in Nigerian league so far. So you can't take it away from Caterpillars.
Okay, all right. Well, so we're really good to see. It's going to start today, so we don't see anything stopping it. I want to come back to the NFF and go to. But Jimmy Carter, the Federations Cup semi-finals. The 14th that are currently, we have Prime FC taking on Dolphins, Enyimba taking on Giwa FC. Will this be the best 4 the local league can produce?
Is that to say? The best for what to be the teams that definitely. But I think the game to watch out for should be Giwa Enyimba, because of the fact that the Enyimba team, the Giwa team, they have this unique value to them. Giwa emerging from nowhere. Nobody knew about Giwa some 2-3 years ago, but right now they're forced to be reckoned with in football in Nigeria. Now you have Enyimba, traditional powerhouse. You can't take anything away from them. But then again, you also look at the fixture, the other fixture, where you have Prime. Prime seemed to be basically, a team that knows how to play, how do you call it now, competition football. Not maybe the usual league, but they're doing very, very well. And Dolphins again, Prime, Giwa against Enyimba. I just think that we'll have a very fantastic, duel between the two teams.
Yeah, and you can't predict who's going to win the league this time around.
The Federations Cup, definitely not. One thing I know about Prime, they've played 4 matches en route this particular place. I mean, amongst other matches, from the round of 64 to this round, they played 4 matches. Qualified on all the games were all on penalties. Exactly, that goalkeeper, the equivalent of like Tim Krul saving penalties. So if the game with Dolphins goes to penalties, Dolphins, they've not even played any penalties so far. Dolphins will beat you black and blue. But if they allow that game to stretch to penalties, Prime we might see
kudos to Pam,
in Lagos.
Kudos to Gateway, kudos to Giwa. See, that's the point we're trying to make. Kudos to this year's Federations Cup. We expect to see some fantastic action when they come to play the final. Eventually, we can't even predict who's going to be playing the final. That said, now we need to go straight to administration talk. I mean, let's talk a little bit about administration. Talking about the impeachment of Megari is something that we try not to talk about. But since Ken is going to see eventually come back and bring some other people to talk about it, notable actors in the media world to talk about it, we're going to really tee it off and give you a preamble as regards what is going on. Megari on Thursday got impeached. We did see this coming for a while. We've been expecting it. When it came out from the World Cup, we had the court injunction. It was quashed because of the FIFA wrath, so to speak, and eventually the executives came together. 8 of them came out to impeach Aminu Megari. We understand there's going to be another Congress by the 31st of July, or 30th of July, and that will ratify that decision taken. Eventually we'll have a Congress that will swear maybe you, if you contest as the NFF chairman, but I would like you to give us a background to what is going on entirely.
Don't put me on the spot. I'm not.
I'm just saying.
Funds are available.
Understand? We think.
It will be Larry, though. We have the cloud.
Sometimes it's not formal. That's just the news. It's not formal, and after the Congress, we'll see what happens then.
The first 6 Congress or the second?
Yes, the August 26th elected Congress, then whoever comes in. But the most important thing is that a lot of people have outlined. But one thing I fought the man in terms of competition, he delivered on his promises.
Yeah.
In 2010, when he was campaigning, there was a broadcast, there was a media, there was a debate on TV for all the contestants for the elections then. He said one thing. One thing he said that I think he was able to achieve was that Nigeria is going to win some competitions. We have won some competitions. He has delivered on that. But in terms of the real essence of football, or essence of football administration, which is development, he has done absolutely nothing. Nothing. We have competitions here, we can praise him for that. But development, nothing. As a member of the FIFA Status Committee, what is your responsibility? You adjudicate on cases that have to do with players and club contractor agreement, player salaries and everything. Megari as a member. Arbitration award of 2010, which the judicial body set up by the NFF awarded and ordered that these clubs will pay their players this amount of money, has not been implemented. And you remember that?
Part of the things that actually claiming that he has done is financial impreparation, and is something that is a major charge.
Well, I don't, in that aspect, I think it takes two to tango. I can't withdraw money since then, so I'll go in a board where you have other big men. Okay. No.
We're not going to allow him to stay on the justice. He just said that Megari for him scored about 60% developmental wise, but he did achieve the World Cup, the Champ tournament. We came third. We hadn't qualified before then. We won the Nations Cup after so many years, and also participated and qualified for the round of 16 at the 2014 World Cup. But yet, it still scores about 60-50%, which ordinarily, 60%, which is still some past mark. But I mean, with what he said, developmental is key. And if you've not been able to achieve that, then that means you failed somehow, from your own point of view.
Somewhat, he may have failed developmentally, but don't forget some of the promises actually. Some of the promises he made about 4 years ago, he delivered on a couple of them. Don't forget that the way Megari came in, there was always going to be issues, bad blood, so to speak. The way Sani Lulu and co left, and then Megari came. But in terms of friendlies, we've never had it so good. Don't forget, Super Eagles would hardly, on days when you had international friendlies, it was hard for you in the last dispensation for Super Eagles to play. But this time around, we're playing Italy, we're playing Mexico, we're playing USA, we're playing Greece, we're playing friendlies, and then not just Super Eagles alone, even age grade football, under 17, under 21, playing friendlies. The only thing I don't like about the Megari was that they abandoned female football, so to speak, and we hope it can only get better.
The point about the male football, actually, that's why we abandoned it though. We need to run off for the second. I quickly about Jimmy Carter. I mean, laugh after Megari. That's what we always do. But yes, we really have to move on. What would you expect from Nigerian football? Whoever comes in, because whoever comes in probably not be listening to you right now.
I think the right thing for us to do is to actually set an agenda. Let's understand that football has to be taken away from the hands of government, but it's got to be a gradual process. It's got to be a process where you involve the private sector. So it's got to be something like a public-private collaboration. Take football away. Take our sports away. It's not just about football, it's also about other sports. So the Minister of Sports has got to do something now, lay a marker and say, moving forward, we know it is difficult to hand over immediately the private sector, deliver our sports to the private sector. But then again, how do we get that done? We need to tell ourselves the basic truth. We need to have probably a truth and reconciliation committee. Else all this, we just keep reinventing itself.
Good only for you.
Let me overstamp what the Mercato just said so that we don't go further.
Are you going to overstamp the same thing he said?
I wouldn't. On the bright side for me is that some emerging talents are coming through for Nigerian football.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Nigeria went to Congo DR and actually won 1-0.
Amunike is still upset.
Amunike is upset with that team. Don't forget that Nwakali is the younger brother of Kelechi Nwakali is the younger brother of Chidebere Nwakali, and these are future stars. If we combine this set of boys coming up now with the boys that won last year, Russia 2018, Qatar 2022, if we have good structure in place, we will get to the semi-final.
All right, that takes us to the final question on that part of this, on this segment, part is Stephen Keshi issue. Remember that we had the statement that came out that says that they've actually endorsed Stephen Keshi. They're going to set up a committee to renegotiate.
Technical committee in 1 week.
Yeah, to actually come out and say Stephen Keshi has agreed.